Okay, so welcome to our third interview debate on our Pepper Presents series. In this edition, we are going to discuss how COVID-19 has impacted a lender's approach to underwriting. And therefore, I am delighted to be joined by one of the most intelligent people I know, Christine Newell, Mortgage Technical Director of Paradigm Mortgage Services. Welcome, Christine. Thank you so much for joining us today and actually giving us the time to talk about this really important topic. So, in your view, how have you seen underwriting change over the last few months?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me along. It's great to catch up with Pepper and yourself, Caroline. But yeah, that's a great question. Put it simply, I think it's changed very much from an automated process into a manual process.
Right.
I'm from the old school of writing business rationales to accompany sort of each case, and this is how it feels at the moment, especially in the self-employed sector. So I think this particularly stands out with the high street lenders, where case ownership and individual bespoke underwriting is difficult to implement, particularly alongside those high volumes of applications they're experiencing. So really, it's very much changed that from that automated process where the system could underwrite quite quickly to very much more taking an individual look at all those cases. So very much manual processes.
No, and I completely agree with you, because obviously, you know, cases are getting a little bit more in depth, and also we as lenders have had to kind of evolve and kind of understand all the market changes. So has your mortgage desk seen an increase in any particular queries in relation to affordability from brokers?
Oh my gosh, yes, definitely. We've seen a huge increase in volumes of calls, first of all.
Right, okay.
For example, in June, we saw a 76% increase on our May calls.
Gosh.
And recorded record-breaking amounts of contact with over 1,100 queries dealt with in June. So that was amazing. Queries that we've seen the biggest increases are around income and affordability. But it's mainly around those areas. It's mainly around how the lenders will treat clients who are furloughed or taking grants and income support loans. So how does affordability and income work around those areas? We've put quite a bit of lender information on our COVID pages to help brokers with these questions, but it's not always as straightforward as that. Brokers really do prefer to speak to someone on individual issues. But contrary to that, we've also seen buy-to-let inquiries increase.
Oh, okay.
So we've seen quite a lot of that. And to be honest with you, our help desk, that is our main area in buy-to-let. And a lot of that revolves around affordability and rental calculations. So again, we've seen quite a lot of increase there.
Do you think that's because of the stamp duty? Do you think that's the changes there have kind of stimulated the buy-to-let activity then?
I think it has. I think it's stimulated all parts of property ownership.
Yeah.
But particularly because it does apply to the stamp duty as well. So yeah, most definitely, I think that's had an impact.
No, that's great. So do you think the specialist lenders will be more sought after by their approach to underwriting going forward?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yes, definitely. Brokers still like to try and squeeze round pegs into square holes, particularly when they are comfortable with lender processes. So it will be all about specialist lenders communicating their messages in an easy to understand way and using good technology, I think, to allow the application to progress quite smoothly. I think brokers understand or have to understand the nuances of so many different lenders, including those systems and packaging requirements. So making it easier to do business with someone is actually the sweet spot. Paradigm has started to see a shift, I think, of business to specialist lenders and smaller niche building societies since the market reopened. So it's good news, I think, for specialist lenders.
No, that's really good. No, thank you for that. So do you think underwriters are fully equipped now to consider the changing consumer?
That's quite an interesting question. I think if we look at the immediate situation, I think specialist lender underwriters have probably got more hands-on experience in dealing with complexities in clients' income and behaviour that the COVID pandemic has created. Larger mainstream players don't have that so much. A lot of their systems have been automated within their processes, allowing them to be slightly more removed from taking such a hands-on approach to this. So I think for these lenders, there needs to be much more support for their underwriters and the decisions that they make. If you then look at the longer term, I think there is more work to do to fully equip all underwriters, including specialist underwriters. Let me give you an example. So if you look at later life borrowers, these types of consumers have totally changed in their attitude, behaviours, sort of due to pension legislation. Their income has also changed. But apart from us as lenders and the industry sort of increasing the length of term, the industry as a whole still tries to underwrite that group of clients exactly how they've done over the years ago. So that hasn't been a lot of change of an innovation in lenders' criteria for later life borrowing. They've just lent for longer periods and not really considered, drawdown action. What's the income like there? We've always asked for state pension letters, private pension statements. No one considers drawdown options and other types of income. I mean, for example, they may continue to enjoy to work, for a lot later. So those areas, I don't think we've progressed very far in underwriting skills and risk. So I think that could be something for the future.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's an interesting one actually for both specialist and mainstream lenders to kind of get their heads around. And finally, for you, what tips would you give broker partners who are looking to submit cases to lenders?
So the first tip is
several.
Yeah, I've got quite a few up my sleeve. I always have a few tips. I think the first thing is stop worrying or trying to change things that you don't have control of. So like 90% lending, although the noise around that has cut back quite a bit, and I think brokers have got their heads around that that's not going to come back anytime soon. I think biggest thing for me is set the client's expectation on timescale. Many clients out there believe that COVID is finished, that lockdown is finished, and that we're all back in there, or we're all trying to get back into our offices. But it's taking 3 to 4 weeks longer to process client administration and get to offer. And even then, offers don't go through to completion as quickly as they've been in the past. Because another property comes on the market, or someone offers a higher purchase price on that property, and they all fall out of bed. So it's taking a lot longer to go through that whole process of application through to completion. I would say check the lender service levels displayed on their website before submitting a case. A couple of lenders have moved back to that fund booking system before submission. And their website contains information say that funds are actually available. So quite often a broker might not check that, go to submit the case, and the lender blocks the case and says funds aren't available until tomorrow, for example.
Interesting.
I think, have you as a broker got a backup solution lender? So that's another thing to think about, because you put the case into the lender and they might not have explained that they're not taking cases that have the characteristics that look like that any longer, or it doesn't fit their criteria. So always have a backup solution. Get all the documentation before the client, before submitting that case to the lender. I think that's obviously relevant, and most brokers are quite good at doing that. I also think that the client needs to provide a credit So brokers who can use technology that can do that, I would definitely get that sorted, because the changes with COVID, with payment holidays and missed payments, all of that is now flagging up adverse credit. And that needs to be addressed, because it won't necessarily go down the route of mainstream lenders, and you will need to look at a lender such as Pepper, such as Vida, that are coming back to market to hopefully place your case with.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for all your insight, Christine. It really, really does mean a lot to us, and there are some very useful tips for all of us to kind of adopt. But sadly, that is all we have time for. So I just want to say thank you very much for all your useful perspectives, and also all your support throughout actually the COVID journey and all the many years that we've worked together. So, and for myself and Pepper Money, thank you very much for all your support, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.